guys, and welcome back to part 2 of our tour on board Dalvina. Let's head straight back over to Ben.
Here we have one of the staterooms. There were 2 staterooms, a matching pair, ensuite staterooms, very classically of the period, so single beds. We find most guests come and actually love it because they say, thank God, a single bed, I can get a good night's sleep.
Yes.
We've got an ensuite shower room in each of the cabins with basically compressed air loos as well, which is a very nice feature because they are almost silent, so they act just like normal loos in your house, which is great because normally, you know, you get that middle of the night grrr, you know, from a macerator or whatever, and it's a complete pain, whereas this was designed specifically with sort of comfort in mind. All the wall hangings, the mirrors, the pictures, that was basically our input, trying to give it a lot of character but without obviously losing, you know, the feel of the boat. The other thing is to just point out, to note that all the wood is, because again it had to be lightweight because of the 30 knots, all of this is balsa core. So this has got a balsa core with book matched veneer. So every single piece of flat timber is all book matched together. So these are all veneers that have all come off the same tree. And then all of the surrounding areas and edges are all hardwood. And then here we have the second stateroom, which is, as you can see, a mirror image of the other one. And everything's got, you know, wardrobe space, hanging space, and air conditioning. All the rooms have air conditioning and heating.
Oh, that's good.
And of course, you've got access to data, engine data, on a screen next to the bed. Obviously, a seat in the shower in case one gets tired while one's having a shower. So then we move forward into the basically the laundry room, which doubles up as skipper's quarters, really, where you've got a small but certainly perfectly formed bed. And while the skipper is in bed, he can iron his shirt, his uniform, which is a nice little feature. And then you've got a full heated laundry cupboard. There used to be a washing machine here, but we took it out and we're refitting one in due course. But basically, it would be a fully working laundry room. And then we move forward into what is the triple cabin, which again, crew or family cabin. Again, you know, very, very usable. And then you've got a Jack and Jill door to the shower for the skipper as well.
So how many people can sleep in total?
So we can sleep 11 in total.
11.
So we've got, and the 11th berth is a sort of almost a sofa bed, but it's basically 11 in total, yeah, in proper beds. Obviously, notwithstanding, you know, after parties where people are lying on the sofa, you know, on the floor. Yeah.
The official is 11.
Yes, the unofficial is about 40. We come down to the stern of the boat, which is the master suite, master cabin with double super king bed.
This is so beautiful in here. Like, I love all the decor, the golds and the oranges.
It is
really nicely done. Deb's has done a great job with the interior for this room.
This picture was commissioned by us from Anne Toms in the village. So she did a lovely picture of a view of the Needles. Somewhere out there is Dalvina floating. You know, it's not. You know, it's too far in the distance. You can't see it, but no, she did a lovely. Yes, exactly, and of course the light on that was what's so important. You know, we love the way she does light and waves. So then you have the master bathroom, which has, unusually for a boat, a bath in it. I think the only other person I know with a bath in their boat is Andy Hobbs in Lucky Ash. Yeah.
Yes, he's very proud of that.
Although he has a jacuzzi, of course.
He has a jacuzzi,
which of course is a bit more flash than this. You know, it's a bit more traditional because then his is a slightly more modern boat, of course. And then you've got a door to the shower, the joint shower through the Jack and Jill doors. I didn't want to obscure any of the, you know, I wanted to keep as much of the wood without it being overwhelming as possible. You know, in other words, you know, we've covered some things up.
But I think it's been balanced really well with the interior finishings of everything. I think the wood really makes this boat. I've always been curious as to what it's like inside. Obviously, when you ever get to view Dalvina from the outside, you think, I wonder what it's like inside.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it definitely doesn't disappoint. I love how the original features are still in here, but it's just got it's definitely got your own taste in here as well, and you furnished it exactly obviously what you and Debs want it as.
Yeah, and it works. It works very well, I think. It's very, very comfortable. We do get people sort of wandering past endlessly, sort of looking longingly as if to say, could we come on board? And eventually they pluck up the courage and go, would you mind if we had a look? So we do get quite a bit of that, which is lovely. I'm very, very happy to, being obviously just somebody, a custodian of the vessel for, you know, our time with it. You know, it's great to share it with people because it is a lovely, as I say, work of art. We have an emergency hatch here for the event of a fire, which basically you get straight out onto the aft deck, which is quite important. There's also one in the fore cabins. And then you wander through here into what's called the day cabin. So the day cabin is really a kind of a mixture of a study, little sort of reading room. This is the 11th berth, so it is a sort of sofa, you know, bed. And then you have a second bathroom, so we kind of a his and hers bathroom in the suite. And again, access to the shower. So again, nice little place to retire from tiresome guests. This is the most important room in the entire boat, of course. All the lads want to see this room, and maybe some lasses as well. But this is the engine room.
That's incredible. I've never been in an engine room, so I'm very excited to come through to here.
It does get, as you can imagine when you're underway, a little warm in there. Here we are in the old mechanical chamber.
And even in the engine room, we can all still fit in here really comfortably.
Yes, and stand up. I mean,
yeah,
this is
just the feeling of space
fully
on this
standing
boat is
room
incredible.
in an engine room is pretty rare on boats these days. It's valuable space. So what we have here is two 1375 MTUs. As I say, they propel the boat along at a maximum speed of 30 knots, cruising speed of about 18 knots. And to give you some figures, if we do 30 knots, 10 tons of fuel will take us 250 miles. And if we do 9 knots, which is its displacement speed, we can do about 2,500 miles. So guess which speed we go at. See if you can guess. This is one for the audience.
Pop in the comments what you think.
Exactly. The couple of features in here that are really relatively unusual, certainly in modern yachting, because most modern yachts that have stabilisation either have fins externally or they have a gyro. But this uses a very old technology called a sliding weight stabiliser, which is basically wafers of lead that add up to about a ton in weight, and then they slide from left to right internally, therefore balancing the boat in any kind of rocking motion. And they take out about 90% of the rocking motion, depending on how bad it is, of course. There's a point where it can't do anything. But it's very, very useful because you can deploy it when you're at anchor, and it just makes the boat nice and stable. The boat is 90 tons, so it doesn't move around a lot, but, you know, obviously it's a boat still. So, you know, you get out in a rough sea and, you know, nature takes over.
Of course.
So we have two of everything, 2 generators, 2 water pumps, black and grey pumps, all double of everything, so that basically redundancy and efficiency and what have you. So everything in here, of course, in a modern boat would be about 70% smaller, but it's all fixable because it's analog, and I like it. I mean, this is the thing that, yeah, this is one aspect of it that is like a museum. It's a complete, you know, this is a time capsule. Most boats of this ilk would have been upgraded during their life. So if you take a super yacht today, from the minute you buy a super yacht, you are basically upgrading it, because you can't afford for a boat to go out of date, you know, equipment. So unusually this boat was purchased, the skipper was put on it when it was released. He was a lovely guy, John, from the Merchant Navy, and he just kept it in lovely condition. He didn't do anything, they didn't rip out stuff and put new stuff in, he just kept it as it is. And of course, because it all worked, it just carried on working. So as long as it was serviced, that was it. So that's what again makes it very unusual, because it's not been, you know, upgraded. So it's, you know, it's all original.
And how long have you had the boat for then?
We've had the boat about 7 years. We originally had a boat on Cadogan Pier in Chelsea for about 10 years, which was lovely in the middle of London. And then we decided we were getting a bit fed up of the Thames and the massive tides and the fast running, you know, waters. And of course you can't engage with the Thames in the tidal Thames because you can't swim in it, you can't really do anything. So we wanted to come to really somewhere where we could swim and engage with the water. So somebody said, oh, have you thought of the Isle of Wight? So we thought, oh, and we'll come down to the Isle of Wight. And of course we've lived in the south. While we had been to the Isle of Wight as children, you know, a couple of times, we never really thought about it. Anyway, we came to the Isle of Wight, we got off the ferry at Yarmouth, and that was it. We've arrived. So we brought the boat down here. That was a wooden fleur-de-lis which we brought down here. And then we sold that boat, and because I stumbled across this one, of course, as we always do with boats, you know, you can never have too many boats. So I bought this one, and then we sold the other boat to some friends, and yeah, just been on this ever since. So very happy.
Thank you so much, Ben, for having us on board today. It's been really,
Pleasure.
really insightful and so interesting to actually learn all about the original features of Dalvina, and obviously to actually come on board because we see it all the time. So to actually come on board and see what it's like has been fascinating. So thank you so much for
You're
that.
most welcome. I hope the viewers will enjoy it.
I'm sure they will do, but we do have one more last question for you.
Okay.
So for anybody new coming into Yarmouth Harbour, where do you recommend that they go to? Have you got a favourite place that you like to visit whilst you're here in Yarmouth?
It's a difficult question because there are some lovely restaurants and places to visit. I would say that most of the restaurants here, there's something for everyone. We particularly like a little restaurant on the beach just along this way. Now everybody expects me to say the Hut, of course, but in fact Lisa's, which is just on the other side of the beach here, is a little tiny restaurant right on the beach. She's absolutely delightful. She does a lovely, very, very lovely home cooking. Of course, the Hut, of course, is very glamorous and very lovely, but Lisa's is absolutely fabulous, and we frequent it as much as possible. It's a nice little short walk from here.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I would certainly recommend all the restaurants here, really.
Yeah.
But yeah, Lisa's is worth a note.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for sharing that with us.
You're welcome.
We always love seeing all of the different types of boats which reside or visit us here in Yarmouth. So if you'd like us to come on board for a tour of your boat, please get in touch. Our contact details are in the description below, and we'd love to hear from you. So we hope you've enjoyed coming on board Dalvina with us today. If so, please hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe, and we will see you next time.